Good morning from Yummy Bee TV. Wishing you all well. Sending plenty of love your way as usual. Now, first things first, about last night's Channel 5 documentary based on HMP Category A Belmarsh, right? Now, we've all been saying on social media, me, Joey Barnett, Ray Bishop, Kevin Lane, all of us have been saying January the 3rd, which was the date that we was given for the Channel 5 Belmarsh documentary to be aired. Well, hey ho, it was aired last night, a Channel 5 documentary on Belmarsh, but alas, after all, it was a repeat and not the one that we were advertising, right? So I say it wasn't Channel 5's staff's fault. It was probably a Christmas hitch and a computer technical human error where somebody has obviously pressed the wrong button that was meant to be the one highlighted in the background of this video, in the thumbnail, the new Belmarsh documentary, yeah? But obviously it's gone to a repeat one that was on a couple of months ago. And altogether, still a well put together documentary, right? Now look, in the thumbnail, in this video, is the one that was meant to be up, which is coming very, very soon. Quite clearly shows my ugly boat, right? And some of the content that is going to be in that Belmarsh new documentary, showing that where I'm saying I hated John Sweeney's guts, that horrible man who chopped up all those lovely ladies' bodies and threw them in the canals and the suitcases and was an A-list drawer of drawing his crimes for whatever, you know, his desires and feelings are towards the things that he did for those despicable crimes. And it shows you some of the things coming up with some confrontations with me and John Sweeney, amongst other things as well. Also highlighted in this thumbnail, in this video, is my relationship with Joey Barnett. Now, we've been waiting to get together for quite some time because most of the people know that at some stage or another, me and Joey Barnett were partners in crime, meaning sadly our behaviour in prison wasn't really that good and we used to rob a lot of people. Not really unfamiliar for my story because, you know, a lot of you that have followed me for a long time, it's something that I've been totally open and honest about. They also state, controversially as well, in that little bit there you see that Yummy Bee has no regrets. No, but it's not really that controversial, and it's also not new to you lot, because I have always told you lot that I don't regret my prison behaviour. I don't, mate, right? For one, I'm going to tell you in a minute. For two, right, it just looks like it's going to be a real powerful one when this one comes out. Honestly, some real significant things are going to be highlighted. But interesting from last night, right, Kevin Lane hits the nail on the head. It was stating, coming, you know, high risk double category A prisoner coming through reception, and the staff surrounding him and intimidating him, and, you know, yeah, I don't know who you think you are, Lane. If you want to know, we'll all have it. Kevin knocks a couple of them out, right? His pain threshold is a little bit higher than mine, right? The reason why I've got no regrets, right? So we put this on the table today about my prison behaviour. Because before the Queen's pardon, for those that have followed me for quite some time, some don't, I'm not going to go too into it now. You can go through other videos and you can find out exactly what I'm talking about. I changed because I realised that no matter what you do, even if you behave, and I knew that I was already institutionalised from very, very early on. And I know that when they were trying to bully me, and in the early days, you let them wrap you up, the staff, and it's not uncommon for certain Category A prisons where you get a team of 3, 4, 5 prison officers that if you say one bad thing to one, they'll be in the tea room the next day plotting when they're going to come for you. And then they'll come and intimidate you, either fight back or you get wrapped up, right? I had a method in the early days when they used to jump on me for no reason. I thought, you know what, I'm going to start fighting back. And then I had a big row and I still lost, right? So my reasoning as well, though be it's not the best way of doing time, is that I read that I couldn't win either way. And so I used to do all kind of tricks, like when they were coming for me, when I was running around the wings, as stated on this program coming up, and doing my madness and doing bad things to people in jail, and, you know, people, or letting people try to do bad things to me, or surviving in the jungle, whatever way we want to put it in this video. when they used to jump on me, I used to pretend I was dead, and then healthcare would have to come. I'll make it more difficult for them. You have to take me to the healthcare first, and then you drag it out. That was one of my methods, because sometimes it's not a good feeling when grown men are going to be jumping on you. We also know through 2 or 3 of my stories that I was an absolute pest. We knew that I weren't quite right in the nut. We also knew that on 2 or 3 of them stories, when they tried to jump me, a lot of people started jumping in for me. Those are absolutely facts. And I got no regrets about it. I might have used it all in my favour in the latter days as well, where I said, look, leave me alone. I'm doing what I want. Take the time off me. I'll do the time. I don't really care about getting out and all that. So you don't believe that when I go on a mission to go and score something or do something for somebody else, and you want to come back and search me, you don't believe that I'm going to be handing it over and just going, yeah, here I go. Take me to the seg. I'll lose my time. Oh, right, well done, Yami, and all that. I'm not going to be putting myself through all that to be handed over the goods, all right? That's just been totally honest. I've got no regrets about that. The regrets that I have always stated quite clearly are the victims of my burglaries and robberies and frightening people. We know that I've never ever put my hand on an innocent victim, but it doesn't matter. I was still a wrong un. I still frightened people, and I stole people's belongings. People that were unknown to me, that didn't deserve the behaviour that I put in to ruin their lives in some kind of way, and every little way matters, remember that? So those are my regrets. My regrets, I've told you a million times, ain't what happened in the children's home. It ain't what happened in prison. Sometimes in prison, I believe that I never had no choice to behave the way that I do. They'll be all plotting up on you, the staff, saying that you're this and that and telling this inmate that and all that. You have to come out fighting or swinging, otherwise everybody's going to they're going to be treading all over you. Listen to me. I'm saying to you, don't do it the way that I do it. Furthermore, don't do it don't even go to prison. But I'm saying to you, that was the way that I did it, all right? Right or wrong, right? It's fact, okay? Now, Kevin Lane touched on as well last time, very good point, and a great Razor Smith as well. Remember in the early days, they used to jump on Razor in the 80s and all that. The night was when me and Razor was in Albany when I was a kid and all that. In those days, right? Because Razor was a model prisoner kind of halfway through them long stretches where they left him alone and he left them alone. The reality was in the early days when Razor, with being a legal genius and a brain box that he is, when he challenged the system with pen and paper, they might try and jump on Razor in those early days, but Razor wasn't having a bar of it, and we know that Razor Smith was a real handful during those early days. Kevin Lane points out about the keys as well. It's a very good point, I still hear those keys in my sleep, because with the way that I lived in it, many men in Category A are on high alert all the time because a lot of problems with certain other inmates and staff and that kind of thing. So when you hear keys, you automatically think, when your door's locked, you automatically think, boy, they might be coming for me. They've left you on edge all that time. It leaves you traumatised forever and a day, even if you're out here. Ask Tony Argent, I swear to God, right? And remember, John Sweeney, you know that I hate John Sweeney, right? Tony Argent, I said to him one time, remember years ago, I said I was a bit fearful of that Sweeney at first. Remember what Tony Argent said as well? Big point. He said, Yami, you could never be fearful of a man that chooses vulnerable targets, R-E-I-E, as in women. You know what I mean? You're not picking no hard targets. That's another point as well that's raised in there. But the keys is a really big thing. It leaves you, because loads of times over the years when everything's quiet and you hear the keys, you're so used to them running in on you. It's not a very good look for any of you looking to go there. It's not for the faint-hearted. Only the strong will come out of it. And even when you do come out of it, you'll come out on the hour and you will be left with that on-edge feeling. Even with those little dreams that I get, obviously I'm much more free and easy now the longer that I've been out. But at first, trust me, it was a real feature, getting tense and that all the time when you're thinking about imminent danger of some kind. But these are the kind of conditions it can leave you with, high anxiety and that kind of stuff. Andrew Pritchard also hit the nail on the head with Curtis Warren. Curtis Warren has always done his time like a model prisoner. Forget, the supposed manipulation of a lady officer. As far as I'm concerned, that's not really that bad behaviour. He's not beating her up or nothing. That is human nature, if it did happen. Secondly, Curtis Warren has always done his bird pretty easy and cushy. He's not a loud geezer, right? And if you ever look at the things, right, and many of you will agree with that have done time, for those that don't, he done more time than certain killers, Curtis Warren, right? I'll tell you what, the reasoning behind this thing that I'm telling you, it's because of money. They value money things more than human lives. Sometimes they do, mate. They do. And because his name was called out there, he ended up doing much more time than what he should. If you look at the fight in Holland with the geezer that he was fighting was a raving lunatic. If Curtis Warren doesn't fight him back, he ends up killing Curtis Warren. I'm telling you, mate. I'm telling you, I'll bring this story to the table soon, right? There's nothing he could have done on that day. I don't even think he intentionally tried to kill him. All right, he was just defending himself. It's absolute fact, mate. And this builds up the profile of a man that's got millions, and it was links all around the world, and linked to this bit and that bit, and guns and drugs and, you know, laundering and all that kind of stuff, yeah. But in reality, it's not. There's a lot of money involved, probably, but they've made it more bigger and harder for him to get out due to the other things that come up into where his name gets called, i.e. the manslaughter, the prison stuff as well with the lady. I mean, human nature, I mean, they're going to bring it up soon, that I had a couple of affairs with ladies in there. Gordon Bennett, mate. If you're doing a long time and then you really want to kiss and a cuddle sometimes, I swear to God, mate. But that's my version of it. It's not, you know, it's not, for them, it's manipulation of the highest order. No, it doesn't. It isn't. It takes two to tango. Someone either fancies you or they don't. Otherwise, they'll be getting off with everyone in the system, wouldn't they? Right? So I'm just breaking that down to you on my fine form today. But the reality is, the Belmarsh new Channel 5 documentary will be on its way. And I'm telling you, it is, I realise now, it's a real eye-opener and a real explosive one. I'll be up in about another hour, all right?